On this week's episode, I roll into a town that is located along the main line of the Norfolk Southern Railway. Then visit a museum that offers a nostalgic journey through time. I'll cook up some waterfowl.
Almost looks like a tuna.
Right.
Visit some cars that are Hollywood legends.
So we know who the movie star was.
I can find that information out pretty quickly.
And then embark on an adventurous quest spanning 1,000 steps.
My God.
So sit back, relax, and let me do the driving right here on Road Trip Masters. I'm Nick Kessler.
And I'm Brian Fulmer.
We're teachers that have a passion for travel.
Cruising the highways and byways in our 1968 drop-top caddy.
We discover the places and people that make this nation great. We are Road Trip Masters. This week I'll be visiting the beautiful town of Huntingdon, PA, with a population of 6,287 residents. It is the largest dwelling near Raystown Lake, a 28-mile body of water that was created by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Huntingdon is also notable for being the location of Juniata College, a prestigious private liberal arts school established in 1876 by members of the Church of the Brethren. To fully immerse myself in this town's rich history, I decided to stay at the renowned Gage Mansion, an iconic structure that has graced these sidewalks for well over a century.
Gage Mansion, prime location right here in Huntingdon. You step back, it's absolutely gorgeous. What is the history?
So Colonel George Gage moved to Huntingdon, and he took over as superintendent of the East Broadtop and Huntingdon Railroad. He was very industrious, and he invented a railroad car coupling and patented it, which is where apparently he gained his fortune. So he contracted with a famous architect, George Barber, to build this house in 1896.
As a woodworker, I walk in, I'm blown away. The fireplace, the dragons, they are to the nth degree in detail. The staircase right behind me. But there's a little interesting story about the lights.
The lights are original to the house, and they are half electricity and half gas, because when the house was built, the electrical system was not very reliable, so they kept gas lights in this house.
So John, the rooms, how many do we have here?
We have 7 guest rooms, all of them with ensuite bathrooms except for one, and that one has a special key for the room down the hall, which was Colonel Gage's original bathroom.
So Mr. Gage's bathroom, there's something special about that.
Well, he was a very large man for the time. In 1896, he was 6'4", so he had a clawfoot tub specially built just for him and brought it in on Italian Carrara marble.
What is your favorite room here on premise?
My favorite room is 301, which is the 3rd floor turret. I love to sit in the turret with all of the natural light streaming in and just read.
This is a B&B, and we have to keep that in mind. Tell us a little bit about the food.
Nancy makes a scratch-made breakfast. She uses local ingredients when they're available, and she tailors her menu to the guests' liking.
Does the menu rotate daily?
Yes, if you stay here for 5 days, you won't have the same meal twice. Nancy packs all of her meals with flavor, with variety. They're always interesting. They're beautiful, too. She does a great job on presentation.
The raised panels all throughout, the woodworking, the carvings, the flooring, everything beckons original to the Gage Mansion. I can't wait to check in, get into my turret room, and have a beautiful couple days off.
Awesome. Welcome.
Located in the heart of downtown Huntingdon lies the 312 Kitchen and Cocktails, where they specialize in scratch-made dishes. And talk about a stone's throw away, this place is literally right across the street from the Gage Mansion.
Okay, Chef Jason, 312 restaurant. What are we gonna be cooking up?
We're doing seared duck breast. So this is an 8-ounce duck breast.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our chef knife here and we're gonna score across straight lines.
Chef, I gotta be honest, that knife looks sharp as heck.
It is super sharp. We're just gonna make some nice score marks. So that way, when we're pan searing, we get a nice flow. We get a nice flow of the butter through the lines.
It looks like you're cutting all the way through, but you're not.
No, sir.
Now, Chef, most people would take the fat off. We don't do that here, do we?
Absolutely not. The best part about it is like the skin will crisp up beautifully for a nice bite.
Almost like a pork rind or something.
Absolutely. You get a nice crunch and a nice soft, fatty bite of the duck. Beautiful together.
Man, I'm excited. Okay, Chef, it's fry time.
So we're gonna start with a oil butter blend.
See if we get that sear. Yes, we did. The onomatopoeia. Now, how long on each side?
About 2.5 minutes on the first side, 3.5 minutes on the back side.
And we want to crust up that fat.
Nice crispy top, nice crispy bottom, and then I'll show you the secret later.
Now, what color temperature are we looking for here? Rare, medium rare, what?
So we really like to cook this medium rare. There's a stigma that people say that you cannot have duck medium rare because it's a bird. That's untrue. I'm gonna show you my little trick now. That makes this dish perfect.
I see what you're doing now. You're gonna cook that to a medium on the outside. Inside is still gonna have that medium rare texture.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Little duck medallions. So, Chef, we're making a slaw now?
Absolutely. We're gonna make an Asian Thai slaw. It has kale, shaved Brussels sprouts, carrots, some red cabbage, and we're gonna also add some Granny Smith apples into that.
And this is not gonna be cooked or reduced here.
This is not. This is gonna lay on the plate, and the duck will be plated on top of it.
Now, you got 3 sauces here.
First one is gonna be honey. And then we're gonna follow that with some nice sesame oil. Last but not least, Thai peanut sauce. We're gonna give this a nice mix. There we go. Thai Asian slaw.
Simple.
Simple, but delicious.
Chef finished this mouth-watering waterfowl masterpiece by placing the duck medallions on a bed of that Asian American slaw. Topped it with a house-made plum sauce, put on some tuxedo sesame seeds, and a side of white wine reduced asparagus. This dish was looking scrumptious.
Chef, I cannot wait to taste this dish. The duck looks absolutely stunning. The colors are vibrant. Can't wait to dig in. Now, time to dive in to the duck. How do I summarize up this dish? Well, as they would say here at the 312, life is short, dine well. The simplicity, basic ingredients can all be done at home too.
Absolutely.
So really no reason to come to the 312 then. We won't put that in the show.
My next stop in Huntingdon was an absolute must, not only for myself, but for the caddy as well, the Swigart Museum, a place that is dedicated to the collection, preservation, and celebration of the American automobile and its cultural history. Here one can observe the 1908 Studebaker Electric, of only which 2 were ever made, the 1936 Duesenberg prototype, aka the Gentleman's Speedster, truly one of a kind. But first, I was advised to introduce myself to the head lady in charge.
Pat, I have to say, being in Huntington, I had to stop at the Swigart Museum. Tell us a little bit about the museum.
Emmert Swigart started a car collection in 1920. He kept the collection in Huntington in a building known as the Carriage House. His son, William, who was my husband, took over the collection in 1947. In 1959, William built this present building. So at the present time, we have about 150 cars in the collection.
Could you consider this car museum the oldest in the country?
It has been determined the oldest car museum in the country.
You know what I find amazing? That probably over 95% of these cars are original. They have the original paint, which is very, very rare. And some of these cars are over 100 years old.
Most of the cars are drivable, but if you were to put the fluids back in, we could drive them out of here.
Pat's knowledge of the museum was staggering, but it was time to meet up with the great and all-knowing Oz, Jace, who was going to introduce me to 2 Hollywood icons.
Jace, a legend. The 1968 film Herbie in the original car.
One of the side actors to the original movie. He was on a flatbed truck at one point, and then he was the star of the second movie, Herbie Rides Again. This is a 1960 Volkswagen VW Bug.
This appeared on film.
Yes, this was the movie star on film. One of only, I believe, 11 used in the entirety of the film, but it was the star of the entirety of the second film. Every major shot was filmed with this Herbie.
So Jace, I mean, somebody could reproduce this. How do we know that this is the actual Herbie?
Well, the ownership card was found with the vehicle, and it is stamped Walt Disney Production Studios. Verifying it was the original car, we kept that card and blew it up onto a large film so people could easily see this is the original movie star. This is Herbie the Love Bug.
Well, that's proof enough for me.
And I get to talk about it every day.
Looks like we got one more car left.
One more movie star at that.
Let's go. Well, Jace, the Tucker.
Yep. Personally, one of my favorite cars in the collection, and actually some of the rarest in the US. Only 50 Tuckers were ever produced in the year 1948 before the company found itself in legal hot water over its original production. Preston Tucker went out to show that cars needed to be safer. It had built-in seat belts. It had a very strong frame. It even had a section in the front where you could duck down.
You take the classic center headlight. A lot of people don't know this.
It'll rotate. It rotates with your steering wheel. Mr. Tucker thought if you could attach it to your steering wheel, you could turn with the road and see the road ahead rather than just the trees in front of you.
Now, the movie Tucker, produced in the late 80s, starring Jeff Bridges. Do you think he sat in here and drove this car?
I don't know if he himself would have sat in the car. I do know Preston Tucker sat in every one that rode off the line. They're all numbered. This is number 1013.
I keep driving this point home. It's like we're in that 1948 showroom.
We've worked hard to preserve all of the paint, chrome, and finishing on every vehicle to give it its unique feel. So when you do see something like this, or you've wanted to see it, it blows you away by just how perfectly we've tried to keep it.
The Swigart Museum is a must-stop while in Huntington. But before I left, it was only polite of me to ask Mrs. Swigart if she wanted a ride in the '68 Caddy. And without hesitation, she accepted the invite. One cannot simply go to Huntington without visiting the Isett Heritage Museum, a place that is home to the most diversified collection of artifacts in central PA. Here one can visit an old-fashioned ice cream parlor and take in the past while recapturing forgotten memories of yesteryear. This place was right up my alley, and I just had to find out more.
Okay, Justina, what an impressive facility here. The Isett Heritage Museum. What is it all about?
It is a personal collection of Mr. Melvin Isett, and that's what we have on display now is the 3 buildings with the 40,000 items that him and his wife collected over their time period.
40,000 items?
Yes, through all the buildings you're going to see different things from different time periods. We actually do use the reference that this is a walk down memory lane, and it's not just in one building. It's every corner you turn, you're going to see another memory lane.
Okay, I'm ready to step into our time machine, I'm gonna call it, and see what we stumble across.
So we got our legs a-pumping and took a nice little jaunt to Building 1, wherein lies an amazing product that was developed right here in Huntington.
Justina, I'm kind of puzzled here. Notepads?
They're just not notepads. These were the first tablets that were ever produced in the world. They were made here in Huntingdon, Pennsylvania in the 1870s by a gentleman by the name of J.C. Blair.
So how did he come across the concept for this notepad?
He actually one day was selling wallpaper. He made a cover for a catalog where he could show samples of his wallpaper so a customer could come in, tear off the wallpaper, take it home and see what the woman chose to put out. From this idea, Mr. Blair actually came up with this idea here. This was the very first writing tablets, and this is one of the original ones. They were nailed down to the surface. The reason why he actually nailed it down to the surface was you were writing with the quill and the ink pen, and when you wrote, you didn't want it to shift or move or you would have big blotches of ink.
So we move from the tax, I'm gonna call it mobile version. How did that happen?
Actually, that credit goes to his wife. When she was making glue for the wallpaper to put it on the wall for some of the customers that was coming in, she got the idea of why can't we just glue the pages together? So in her home kitchen, she actually made the glue that they started to use to glue the pages together.
So right here in Huntington, the notepad has its birthplace.
Yes.
As my tour continued, one couldn't help but reminisce while patrolling the endless aisles, from the green depression glass that was made with the uranium oxide that my mother so faithfully collected, to the 1966 Cadillac that reminded me of the many caddies that my father once drove. A visitor to this museum can be sucked into the vortex of memories that this museum so religiously possesses. And then, out of nowhere, I saw a distant sign that read, Tin Shop. Teaching metalworking for over 30 years, I just had to pay this exhibit a visit.
All right, Justina, we're back here in the tin shop. Who do we have with us today?
This is Jacob. He's one of the docents or the tour guides here at the museum.
What's our first step, buddy?
So we're gonna start with making a stovepipe.
I almost feel like I have to grade Jacob. Yep, just a little bit long. You got it.
There we go.
You got it.
Then Jacob was off to the races, where he created the seam that interlocks the pipe, eliminating the need to use solder. The next step was to meticulously form that half-round bead. This bead serves as a stop when joining pipes. Last but not least is the crimp roller, which reduces the end diameter so it can easily slide into an adjoining pipe.
All right, final grade is in. I'm gonna give him a 90. Jacob, thank you so much, brother.
Thank you very much.
You did well under the camera pressure. I like it, and I gotta be honest, first pipe I ever made. Well, you made.
So these are from the 1830s.
Jacob, I'm back here.
Sorry. Yeah. There we go.
My last stop in these parts was an absolute must-to-do when visiting Huntington, the 1,000 Steps, a walkway constructed by the employees of the Harbison Walker Company that led workers to Ledge Quarry, where they harvested a very important rock that paved the way for our nation in becoming a global powerhouse. But I wasn't going to undertake this journey alone and decided to ask Susan, a 1,000 Steps guru.
Susan, looks like we both have a huge challenge ahead of us.
That's right.
What am I getting myself into?
Well, this is the trail that the quarrymen took every single day. They would start in the dark with their cave lamps on, and they would go up in the morning, they would dig the Ganister rock out, and they would come home at the end of the evening, and it's 1,000+ steps.
Why were they digging the Ganister rock? What's its historic significance?
They were digging the rock and loading it onto cars and taking it down the mountain. The rock would be crushed and built into silica brick.
And what was this brick used for?
Well, because it could take a high heat, it was used to line the steel mills and the iron furnaces throughout Pennsylvania, and it helped America be the #1 steel producer in the world for over 100 years.
All right, Susan, let's go. Oh, boy.
As our journey progressed, I began to quickly appreciate what these workers went through on a daily basis. Susan and I hit the 200 mark, then the 500. I just had to stop and observe the beauty that surrounds this stunning landscape. But then, I just had to ask,
how the heck did they lay these stones in here? Do you have any knowledge on that?
All I know is they did every single one by hand. They probably looked for a flat spot, stuck it in there, drilled it in there, and moved forward.
Plus, I could have used the brake, there's no doubt about it. All right, let's go. Holy Louie. My God.
As Susan and I endeavored to persevere, we finally reached step 1,000. After a quick rest, we headed out to Ledge Quarry, where the Ganister rock awaited us.
Susan, this is pretty treacherous. I mean, the slope here is insane.
Right.
So the workers would climb around here, bringing the rock up?
They would climb around, grab the rock they needed, load it into the dinky car. They would encounter rattlesnakes. If a stone was too big, they'd have to deal with drills and dynamite. It was very hard labor, very dangerous.
I just can't imagine picking up a piece of stone and carrying it up this grade. If we turn this, I could break this
Right.
very easily, but as I break it, there is a very, very fine sand.
It's interesting because this brick, when it's made, can take very high heat. It was actually fired at over 2,000 degrees, which is hotter than the hottest lava. But it's not a super strong brick, but it worked great in steel mills and iron furnaces.
Now, some of this fine stone, this Ganister rock, was used for another purpose for NASA, right?
Correct. So not even a stone's throw from here, we've got another quarry filled with sandstone. And that sandstone, when ground down, is some of the most fine sandstone in the world. It was actually used for the glass in the Hubble telescope.
Well, Susan, it's amazing what these workers went through. The 1,000 steps, the hard labor, getting the rock, getting it into the dinky cart, transporting it down the mountain, into a larger locomotive. It's an unbelievable testament of what made America.
The people of Huntington should be extremely proud of their hometown and how it helped shape America into what it is today. So stop in, say hello, and start your own adventure. Until next time, I'm Nick Kessler. Stay curious, my friends. Safe travels.